Oh! Oh, we've got a new toy on this one. Did you know that? Oh, you're nodding, so you did know it. You didn't tell me, but you did know it. Well, that's cool. We're going to talk about that today. Hello, it's Tom, back on the Velocity YouTube channel. We're in the showroom today, and it's funny, I feel like Bronco is our biggest seller. We do more Broncos than basically anything else. Yet I feel like I haven't done a Bronco video in like 3 months. Mac's nodding, the videographer Mac is nodding, and that's right, I think it's partly because we've sold so many of them. Anyway, this one is available for sale. It is ready to go, it's on the website. It's a really, really cool spec truck, and we're going to walk you around it as if you were here in the showroom with me. I am, though, very excited because this thing has something really cool that is new, and I'm excited to talk about. Anyway, let's start with the paint color. This is British Racing Green. And no, I don't just colour them because I'm British. Of course, British Racing Green is a real heritage colour, very classic colour. It is a kind of medium to dark green. It has a super deep metallic fleck in it, and it looks fantastic. We've done a number of Broncos in this colour. Has an accent colour, which is called Wimbledon White. I'm going to talk about that in a minute when we come down the side of the truck. But for now, let's walk to the front and talk you through the front grille. Of course, it is a Bronco, and this is what a Velocity Bronco looks like, save that you can change the headlight choice, and you can also change these colours on the forward lettering if you really want to. But this, for a Ranger package, is the complete style that I like going to. If you were to build your own, and you can do that on the configurator on the website, you can mess around and play with one and design one, you can actually change the grille insert to be Wimbledon White too. My preference is to keep it like this. I like the color all the way through, but some people want to do even more classic look and have the grille Wimbledon White. These headlights, these are the Holley Retro Bright headlight. They are this more classic style, halogen looking LED that we offer. They are fully automatic, and you can, if you wanted to build something yourself, you could do a different headlight. You could do a JW speaker headlight, which is more modern. But because this vehicle is the Ranger package, and because it has this really sort of classic aesthetic, these headlights just make sense. I love them. They're very bright, they're very durable, they work really well, and they look super cool. Final thing is, of course, the front bumper. Normally this would be chrome, but when you go to the Ranger package, guess what? It goes Wimbledon White, which is, of course, very classic Ford color. You also have on the hood a stripe. This is a decal. It is not a painted stripe. There are reasons for that. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But you have the Ranger hood stripe here as well with like an orange pinstripe in it, which is really classic. About 50% of all the Broncos we sell have this package on them. So you know it is just so popular. And it's easy to see why. It just looks absolutely brilliant. Right, let's walk down the side of the vehicle, and I'm going to keep talking about what goes in as part of that Ranger package. The stripe on the hood, of course, matches this main stripe down the side. It is also a decal. Let's talk about why this is a decal or a wrap rather than just being painted. Painting is amazing. We do hand-painted stripes in a lot of our other vehicles. If you do certain series, certain levels, you can get hand-painted stripes. Mustangs in particular, right? Racing stripe on a Mustang, hand-painted all the way through. But for a Bronco in this configuration like this, imagine this area, imagine the risk to this area as you drive in a Bronco. If you want to go on like mixed terrain, you want to go down to the beach, or even just as you're driving, this is the area that is going to pick up the most stone chips and like road traffic, not meaning traffic, but like, you know, the trash and stuff that comes out of the road. That's the area. And so if you hand paint this stripe and you do get a chip, let's say back here, which is a really common area, right around this wheel arch here, you're going to have to like repaint the whole panel. You're going to have to match it all and mess around. When you do this, you don't have to do any of that. You literally just take it off and reapply it, and anybody can do it. You know, you can apply it at a PPF place or something like that. So that's why we do those. It looks, of course, brilliant. The pinstriping going down, the orange detail in there as well is fantastic. Next thing that I want to talk about is these wheels. These are the Wimbledon White Steely wheels. Again, another thing that you get when you go for the Ranger package. They match, all the colors match together, and these just look super classic. They do. They look fantastic. Cooper tire on these ones too. When you go to the Ranger package, you get the Coopers rather than the BFGs. Just changes the design and the feel a little bit. You do have on this vehicle standard chrome accessories. So chrome side mirror, chrome radio antenna, chrome door handle. Now you can upgrade these to the Velocity billet package if you want to. My personal preference on a Bronco when you do the Ranger package is actually to keep these as they are, keep these stock. Why? They're not the original components. Of course, they are brand new, and they just look great with this classic package. If this was like a blacked out truck with black wheels and it was all like smoked out and things, yeah, I would 100% do the billet options. But for a truck like this, the classic looks really good. Back of the vehicle, tailgate, let's talk through this. course, the British Racing green continues. You have the Velocity build badge at the back, matching rear bumper as well in Wimbledon white, and the Ford lettering on the tailgate has also got that same Ranger pinstripe, which is really, really cool. Now, if you wanted to, you could have us fit a backup camera to this too. It doesn't currently have one, but that's an option. We'll talk more about infotainment in a minute. LEDs for brakes and indicators, or turn signal lights, as you guys would say. All of that comes as standard, so you've got all of those gadgets. All right, let's show you the back. Lower the tailgate down, and you'll see that this is finished in a Raptor lining. It is black Raptor, and that's on the underside of the vehicle and on the top side. Why do we use Raptor rather than just painting it? Because it keeps it protected. So when you're throwing things in, like your beach bags or your deck chairs or your golf clubs or whatever's going to go in the back of the truck, it's just nice. You can just lift stuff onto the tailgate and push it in. You do have this nice little carpet. This is actually made of a bamboo, like synthetic weave, which is great. It's durable. It has little poppers that clip down, and the back of the seat there can actually fully, is it called lock and tumble, roll and tumble? I can never remember. But anyway, it locks forward, it rolls forward, so you can literally lift it up and push it. So if you have lots of luggage, you can get even more space, but just don't put the kids in the back, or they might have to cut their legs off or something. If you don't have luggage though, there's lots of space in the back for children. And there are 2 seat belts in the back there too. They are just lap belts. Another thing, if you go for the 6-point cage, the bigger roll cage, is you do get a full 3-point harness for the back seats. So these are all just things to consider when you're thinking about buying a Bronco from us. Quick trick, remember, if you ever see a Velocity Bronco out in the wild and you've got to shut the tailgate, don't slam it. It's a Ford tailgate. If it's a Ford, it needs to be opened and then closed. Let's take a look at the interior next. I'm going to walk you through this one, but let's have a quick sneak peek of it. It is the Ranger package, and so the Ranger changes aren't just on the exterior of the vehicle, they're of course on the inside of the vehicle. Start with the door panel here. This material looks like leather, but is actually a marine grade vinyl. Really premium. It's not like that cheap vinyl that you get on cheap furniture. It is really, really nice, but it's super durable. A vehicle like this with a 4-point cage and the Ranger package, listen, this thing deserves to be at the beach, in the sun, out having fun, not having to worry about keeping it pristine. In fact, that's why, if you actually look at the tyres, we were driving this one earlier and having a bit of fun with it. But you can do that in these trucks, and so we designed them to be like that, and that's why we go with the marine grade vinyl for most of these Broncos. It does have the bamboo insert here as well, that matches the floor mats that we'll talk about in a second. Really nice, makes the seats a little bit more breathable. You've also got electronic window regulators, so these look like old school regulators, but in fact they are electronic. Now, somebody said the other day, I don't know where I was, but aren't they cheap? Don't they fail? No. This is not the same kit that you can buy online. It is all proprietary, and we designed it to do things and go up and down. You control the passenger side from the driver's side, all that cool stuff. So hopefully that answers somebody's question. Speaker pod in the door panel as well. You do have a full focal speaker system in this one. We will talk about that more in a second. Jumping into the vehicle is made easier by the side step. And of course it is powered, so there's a little nubbin here that you press in. It's really a button. And so when the door's shut, that's what happens. And then when you open the door again, it comes up. It doesn't ruin the silhouette, the side silhouette of the vehicle, which is pretty important because these are so classic, you kind of don't really want to ruin them. You want them to look how they did. Speaking of looking how it did, I love this old school style steering wheel. How cool is that? Wooden trim, very, very standard in all Velocity signature Fords, actually. If you do a Mustang or an F100 signature series, you'll get one of these. Tried and tested, they are great, they feel great, they look great. A lot of people will come up to you and say, I love the wooden steering wheel, because they are just cool, let's be honest. Tilt steering column, so you do have extra adjustability, and actually these seats, of course, do slide backwards and forwards, and the seat back will tilt as well, and the headrest, and you've got all of that normal adjustment. Looking forward again onto the dash, and you're going to see the Dakota digital instrument cluster. So this is a brand new instrument cluster. Even though it looks original and classic, it does have all electronic features, including this little screen that when you turn the ignition on, gives you your live speed and the gear that you're in, and of course you can see the odometer there because we've got the key in the ignition and things like that. So cool extra little feature there. Right, let's spin around and keep talking through the rest of this interior. I mentioned earlier the inserts. You've got the bamboo weave, makes it super breathable, really nice. That comes as part of the Ranger package. The whole aesthetic design choices, of course, inside and out, made to look original. You do have a locking tuffy box here in the middle, or a cubby box. Nice, very standard. We do these on all of our Broncos. Built a lot of these trucks. This just works really well. It's lockable, you can lift it up there. There's loads of stuff in there right now. There's the manuals and the trickle charger that you get with the truck, but in there you could fit an iPad or phones or handbag or anything, and it locks down. So you can lock this up if you are going to the beach or something like that and you need it all to be secure. USB 3.0 and USB-C charging on the front. 2 drinks holders and a slot for your phone, and that's it. Keep it simple. Don't make it silly. Some of those ones where they put the screen down here, why? Why would you do that? If you're going to put a screen, put it where you can see it versus having to look down here while you're driving. Anyway, Ranger package, keep it simple. We're going to talk about the radio next. This is a retro sound radio. It is a fully Bluetooth system, so it doesn't actually take tapes or cassettes or anything like that. It is Bluetooth, it hooks up to your phone. It has all of the cool like aesthetic of an old school radio, and I love it. Even these little buttons and things, they're just insane. They're really, really nice. Above that, you've got a vintage air AC system. Use that in all of our trucks as well. Super powerful, really, really cold air, and it does make a difference even in an open top vehicle like this. You've got to remember we're in Florida, so we're used to the heat pretty much all year round, and it does make a difference, right? When you've got the cold air blowing on you as you're driving around, it really just helps regulate your own temperature, so that's nice. Now, crescendo, time to talk about the new thing, which I am very excited about, which Mac didn't tell me was going to be on this truck, and that's this. And it looks simple. So maybe somebody who get a bonus point will have noticed already. Where's the transfer levers gone? The transfer case. They're normally there, and then you know we talk about them, Tom. You normally make a stupid comment about a shift boot or a gear gaiter. Well, no more gear gaiter because of this. Looks simple, but actually this is a fully electronic transfer case control module, so no more of messing around pushing the levers and having to be in park and like having to push the truck a little bit and move around. You literally just put your foot on the brake. Obviously you can't be driving while you're doing it, the vehicle has to be stopped, and you can turn from 2 high into 4 high or 4 low, literally at a switch, like a modern truck. How cool is that? Most people aren't going to ever use the twin stick, but I actually think with this, more people will actually try and take their vehicles in some more adventurous places because they have to worry about the sticks. I love it. It's super cool. Something that you don't really realize you want until you are actually there trying to mess around with it, and then you realize just how useful it is. So that's what I was quite excited about. It is very, very cool. You do have light switch here, old school pull style light switch. Of course, they are automatic. I talked about that earlier. The most satisfying in the world, pulling that light switch. I don't know why, it just is. Your ignition, no push button ignition. All turnkey on all Velocity vehicles. It is an aesthetic and like binary choice that we make not to fit push button starts. We like the feeling of turning them. Wash wipe here, AC we've talked about. You've got a fuse box here in the glove box as well. One thing that you get as part of the Ranger package, if we look down again, is this full covered mat as well. I forgot to talk about that a minute ago. Normally this transmission tunnel cover is not there. So normally it's just the floor mats. When you go to the Ranger, it goes all the way across, which is nice. Looking back up again, you have that same matching vinyl dash pad. This particular color is actually called Hickory, the color of this marine grade vinyl. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Final thing to talk about is look up. This is the bikini top. You can completely remove it if you want to. What's cool about these is we make them all in-house. And the reason we make them in-house is because any aftermarket solution, A, tends to have annoying like straps that you put down the back of the truck, but B, they flap around. They flap around, and that's a problem when you can drive a vehicle like this fast on the highway. You get up on the highway speeds and it's just going, and it's just flapping, and we don't want that. So this is nice and tight. All of them are custom made to each roll cage, which is custom made, like I said earlier, to each vehicle. Just allows for perfect tolerances, and so that removes a lot of that annoyance. I love that the struts here for the roll cage support are also covered in women and white, and you've got this little courtesy light too. So if you're driving at night and you park in your garage and the lights aren't on, open the door, that'll sit there, which is cool. I think I covered just about anything, but if you've got any questions on the interior or you've got any questions on that electronic transfer case because it's so new, leave us a comment, let us know. Let's go and talk about the rest of the driveline now. All right, let's get into the engine and the driveline now. Pop the hood here so you can see what we've got going on. Oh, this one is particularly clean. Look how clean that engine bay is. Really nice, as ever you would expect from Velocity. Now, are you eagle-eyed? I hope you are, because if you are eagle-eyed, no, this is not a Gen 3 Coyote. This is actually a Gen 4X, so the newest generation that Ford offer. And starting this year for all of our vehicles, well, Ford vehicles this year, this is now the engine, so the next step up. Fun fact, we were actually the first people, I think, in all of North America to get a crate Gen 4X to start working on and mess around with. That's quite cool. Anyway, the guys have done a great job. As always, there's not much room in this engine bay. You really got to fit everything in, so that's why we have a custom Velocity serpentine system running the accessories and things like that, and like guys are meticulous about wiring it, plumbing it in really nicely. Let's talk about the engine. Gen 4X, it is a 5-litre V8, of course, continued from what was the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 and now the Gen 4X for us, produces about 460 horsepower, actually slightly more horsepower than the Gen 3, only marginally, not anything that you would feel, but if you're a numbers buff, then yes, this does actually produce ever so slightly more. All that means that the truck will do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds, which in a vehicle like this is very quick and very fun and will put a big smile on your face. It's not all about speed though, it is also about performance and reliability, longevity, drivability, things like that, right? And so this engine can be serviced anywhere. This whole setup can be serviced at any Ford dealer, any reputable dealer that's used to, you know, working and plugging in on a truck, like a new truck. Anywhere you take a new F-150 can work on this vehicle, so no sweat there. Super reliable too. Of course, the Coyote can drive and drive and drive as long as you look after it and service it correctly. It's a 200,000 mile engine easily, so you've got all of that good stuff. Behind this engine is a 10-speed automatic, the 10R80, and so that coupled with this engine just means it's super fun to drive, easy to use, easy to handle every day, great at highway speeds, can do well over 100 miles an hour, but also great just as you're around town and pottering around and having fun, right? So you've got that transmission and flex there. If you were building your own truck, you could do a 6-speed Tremec manual if you wanted to, but for me, I prefer the automatics. It just makes it easy to drive, unless it's a Mustang. If it's a Mustang, then I probably would do the manual. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about stopping, because that's important as well as going. Brakes. These are Willwood Hydro Boosted disc brakes all around this truck. And so that means that you can stop easily as well as you can go. You have all of that stopping power. Nice, they don't bite too hard. They're nice progressive with that hydro boosted system. So just really easy, what you'd expect again in a more modern vehicle. Chassis under this one is a brand new Roadster Shop chassis. It isn't just any chassis, it is Roadster Shop's chassis that they build custom for us and our Broncos. It's the only way you can get one. They are unique. And what does that do? Well, the sway bars and the suspension geometry, it's Bilstein setup underneath here, all of that good stuff just means this truck drives very well. Eliminates a lot of the body roll, very stable at speed, stable in the corners. If you don't believe me, come and drive one, come see the shop, or see us at a test drive event at a show and take one for a quick spin. Or if you're feeling brave, have one of the sales guys take you for a spin to really show you what these things can do, because they are quick and they are fun to drive. Final thing, of course, to mention is the transfer case. We talked about it when we were looking inside, all that new stuff. So you've got a fully electronic transfer case underneath this one, which is just so cool. Not that everybody uses it all the time, but when you do want to use it, it's so much easier. So that, I think, about covers it for the engine bay. Matt, he's nodding. Yes, we've got everything. Right, I think that's about it. Whistle stop tour. I couldn't find you there. I thought you were going to be over there. Whistle stop tour of a Bronco. Very exciting. First Bronco video of the year. There will, of course, be many more. British Racing Green, a colour that is close to my heart, and this one's available for sale. It features the Ranger package, it features the new electronic transfer case, Gen 4 Coyote, 10-speed automatic transmission, 10R80, disc brakes all around, air conditioning, brand new range package, blah, blah, blah. You get it. This thing is a prime example of what Velocity do best. And we've built now over 650 something of these particular trucks, these Broncos, so you can just 100% drive away if you buy this one, confident, knowing that all of the engineering and the learning we've done over the past many years has gone into this one. And you also can sleep at night because you've got a 2-year warranty, so you don't even have to worry about it. Not that anything is going to go wrong, but if it did, you just call us, 2-year warranty. Anyway, more information on all of that stuff is on the website. The link will be down below. You can watch more YouTube videos on our YouTube channel. We've done videos on quite a lot of these trucks in the back, including some of the other models. So if you're not a Ford guy, check out some of the Chevy trucks, K5, K10, and any questions, leave a comment down below. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.